Hey there, lovely people. Welcome back to another Writing Tip Tuesday. I'm Sammi, and I'm a writer who likes to help other writers become better writers. This week, we are coming up to the end of 2021, which is absolutely mind-boggling because I feel like it was literally just March of 2020, like a week ago. But with the new year coming around, a lot of us like to set goals. I know I certainly do. I set up a bullet journal every year and have it going throughout the year so I can keep track of all of my goals. So I wanted to share some of my tips of how to set and achieve your writing goals in the new year. So what's the best way to set achievable writing goals for yourself? I can't answer that for you, but I can tell you the best way that has helped me to achieve more of my goals, not just in writing, but in life. So this method can work for all of those, but because of who I am and what I do here, I am going to focus specifically on writing goals. So what I like to do is I'll start with like a master list of all the goals that I want to achieve, in this case to relate to writing. So I did this in my bullet journal for next year, but that also includes all of my general life goals. So I'm going to redo it here in a digital format so I can show you and we can walk through this together. So I'll write out all of the goals that I have that I want to achieve in my life, mainly the ones that I think I can achieve in the coming year. But in life, some of the things that I want to achieve, I will just go for it full force, anything that I can think of. And if I can't break it down into the year, the month, the date that I want to get that done for the next year, it'll just stay on my list and continue being something that I work towards. Or if it's something that's really big that has a lot of smaller parts, something that is a smaller part that I can set as my goal for the coming year. So then all of the things that I have on my list, I will pull out the ones that I know for sure I can do in the year. I think I can do it. There's a part of me that believes full force that I will get this thing achieved. Those are the ones that I'm going to focus on here. And then the bigger ones, then I will break down and see if any of the other goals that I have for the coming year are a stepping stone to getting towards that goal. So let's say I have the goal that I want to publish a book in the latest 2024. If I have in 2022, I want to complete a first draft of a complete novel, that is a stepping stone to getting to that publishing goal. Because I can't publish a book if I haven't written the first draft, right? So the things that I can achieve in the coming year, in the 12 months that are in front of me, I will separate those from the really, really big goals and I will highlight, circle something around the ones that are stepping stones towards those bigger long-term goals. After that, I will start to set landmarks. These I usually start with quarters. So in the first quarter of the year, I want to get these things done. In the second quarter of the year, I want to get these things done. I want to prioritize these things to have this amount of stuff done by the end of the year. Because I do this in my notebook, I will split my notebook page into 4 sections, across the middle vertically and then across the middle horizontally to get those quadrants. And then I will put quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. And then if I have the space for it, which I do here in this document because it's digital and I won't run out of space, but I will write out all the things that I want to get done in that quarter that I think are achievable. Because in a quarter, you only have 3 months that you can do stuff in. So you want to really think about it as 3 months to do these things. After that, I will break down those quarters into the months that I want to start focusing on that thing. If it's something that's going to take longer than just 1 month, like writing a draft outside of NaNoWriMo, or like going through and making edits, those kinds of things are going to take longer than just 1 month for me to put it on. So if I just say I'm going to start working on this at this month and then keep going, I can set due dates from then on. What my next step is then is to give every goal a due date, a reasonable due date. I have given them all a start date when I want to start focusing on it, and now I'm going to give them all a due date. And when I set those due dates, I want to factor in anything that I know is going on in my life. So like I know that I am moving in April. My lease ends here in April, so I'm going to be going somewhere else. So for my first quarter, I'm not setting too many in-depth, heavy, really thought-provoking, time-consuming writing goals because I know that I'm going to be house hunting and finding locations and prioritizing and all of that kind of stuff just to solidify that part of my life. So I'm not going to set really difficult, time-consuming goals for that first quarter because I have too many other things going on at that time. So once you have all of your things written out, your start dates, your due dates, what goals you want to work on, what your main focuses are for the year for your writing goals, I want you to go to whatever your main system is for planning, for scheduling things, for dates of appointments, whatever you use to keep those things in track. I want you to go to that. For me, it's my bullet journal. So when I do this page in my bullet journal, it's at the beginning of my notebook, and then I can just flip back to that goal setting page and pull the due dates and the start dates from that page and put them into my monthly setups every month that I do, because that's how I keep myself in check. But if you use something else, like if you use Google Calendar or your phone's calendar, something like that, I want you to go in, put in all of the start dates that you have, put in all of the due dates that you have, and put in reminders. So if you have a start date that is in January and a due date that is in June, I want you to put in a, hey, how are you doing on your goal here in March and then in May, and just give those like, hey, how are you doing? Do you remember that you're supposed to be working on this? Because sometimes life happens, and setting writing goals is a little bit harder than setting other goals. Like, I want to do this one activity at some point. It's a little bit harder to do those long effort required activities like writing goals. I want to read this many books. I want to write this many pages of my book, because I know that I can't say that I'm going to set the goal of I want to write a whole book because I have too many things going on. Maybe you're a full-time employee and a parent. Maybe that's too much stuff for you to say I can get a full book done in a year. But having a set, achievable, numeric goal makes that so much easier. So you want to set reminders in between your start date and your end date. Give yourself a couple of check-ins so that you have your current goal-setting self as your future goal-achieving self's accountability partner. You are working towards your own goals. Coming out of college, I know that it's a lot easier when somebody else is telling you what your due dates are for you to actually maintain that you have to do the things. But I think that as long as you have enough value for yourself and your goals, setting these reminders may be the thing that gets you going, and having sort of, hey, I'm going to start working on this today, and then I want to be done by June 17th. On June 17th, when you have that pop-up, if you haven't had the chance to prioritize it, or you have forgotten about it from the beginning, something came up and then you just let it fall to the side, you're going to feel a little bit worse about it than you would if you did your very best. And I want you to do your very best, because any progress is great, especially when it comes to creative goals, because we can't say how life is going to hit us. If you have something really emotionally upsetting happen to you, you may not be as excited to continue working on your happy ending romance story that you've been working on for however long. You may lose your focus on that, and that's okay. As long as you did the best that you could to achieve your goals, you are doing amazing. And I'm proud of you, and you should be proud of you. So set reminders and give yourself that opportunity to keep going. If you want to set a reminder every 2 weeks, do that, because if that's going to keep you going, if you're like, hey, I want to hit this many words in 2 weeks. So I'm going to say that every 2 weeks, I'm going to add this amount of words to my calendar and say, hey, did you hit this many words? Hey, did you hit this many words? Hey, did you hit this many words? Because that'll keep me going. Give yourself a challenge. I think aside from the community that NaNoWriMo presents, it presents a challenge. And some people really compete against themselves in that. And this gives you an opportunity to compete against yourself without having the added feeling of losing. Because I feel like with NaNoWriMo, there's actually like you win NaNoWriMo or you lose NaNoWriMo. So it's not as rewarding as just trying to achieve your own goals sometimes, but I believe in you. So set some reminders and you can do it. And I want to remind you that you should be kind to yourself. If the last 2 years are any explanation for the kind of stuff that can happen in life, you don't know. You can set goals that you think are achievable, but who knows what'll happen. And if something crazy happens and somebody you love passes away, there's some things that you can't control. Maybe your job lays you off because of a global pandemic and they can't keep as many people on staff because they need to limit the number of people in the building. Who knows what can happen? If you don't achieve your goals, you need to be kind to yourself. Acknowledge the things that you were able to achieve because they are amazing. The fact that you got however much progress onto your goals is great, and you deserve to be celebrated for working towards goals. Some people don't. Some people don't try to achieve anything. So the fact that you are trying to do something and trying to better yourself and trying to hone in your craft, you are doing great. So that is the last thing that I am going to say about goal setting for the new year. I believe in you. You've got this. I am very happy to be here and motivate you in whatever way that I can because I know that you can do it and I want you to know that it should be rewarding. So I will see you back again in 2022 on Saturday for a story study Saturday and again on Tuesday for a writing tip Tuesday. I can't wait to hear what your goals are this year. Leave me a comment down below of whatever the biggest goal that you have is. I can't wait to see how you grow in this year and what goals you're going to be able to achieve, because I believe in you and you got this, and I will see you on Saturday.